Hey guys, it's Andrea from the blog Pine and Prospect Home. Today I thought it would be fun to share some of my recent antique store finds, as well as a few newer finds that I thought looked very vintage and authentic. I love decorating with antique and vintage inspired pieces throughout my home, so I hope this video is an inspiration to you for the next time you go antique shopping. So every year for Valentine's Day, my husband and I generally stay home with the kids, and then we wait a couple weeks until some of our babysitters become available because our babysitters are family members. And usually the last week of February, my husband and I try to just get away together, spend an alone night together without kids, and just focus on each other. Then the next morning, my husband usually will take me antique shopping. And he doesn't like to admit it, but I am usually finished before he is. I have to go track him down and figure out where he is because he's usually looking at some old tools, or he finds some vintage toys, or he's reading an old book or something. So it's kind of neat that, that he finds those stores just as interesting as I do. But let me go ahead and show you what I found. I found some really great stuff and I'm excited to share it with you. I told you guys I was looking for more pottery, more crocks, and so I found this little guy, and it's just a very small crock, and I just loved sort of the chippiness on it and how the glaze was sort of broken off in a few pieces. And it says $5, but I didn't actually pay that. I asked if they could do any better, so I want to say they knocked off 10%, but I thought that was just a pretty little crock that I could use in my corner cabinet or somewhere in my kitchen, but I really loved that. The next few items that I found I think are so neat, and they are this grouping of vintage jars. I had envisioned these in my home, and so when I found them I was really excited. And I love that they have the lids that come with them. Ooh, the top part of them is glass. And another thing that I think is so cool about these jars is that the glass is bubbled on a lot of them, which just really shows how old it is. And I love the patina on the metal clasp. I think that's so beautiful and just makes it look aged and old. And then this medium size jar is probably my favorite. It has the writing on it, Atlas Easy Seal. And again, I didn't pay this price for all of these. This one says $8. I paid less than that because I always offer less at antique shops. I say, is this the best you can do? Would you take, would you take $5? And usually I'll go back and forth with them, but I thought this one was really neat. I'm probably going to use these for flowers on my dining room table. The next item that I found was this beautiful basket, and I just love the coloring on this basket. It's sort of weathered looking, and I don't know, it just really spoke to me. I thought it was so beautiful. I think it would be great next to a couch or a chair with some magazines or books in it. It would also just be beautiful with flowers. I think it's flat enough too to where if I wanted to put it on a wall somewhere, like the basket's above the chair in my living room, I could mount it onto a wall and have some greenery flowing out of it. I just thought it was a great find, and it was only $15, so I was really excited about that. Probably my favorite find of the day was this amazing little mailbox. I'm not sure how old it is, to be honest, but I think I've told you guys before how much I love scallops. And the lid has this beautiful scalloped detail. It does have some paint sort of splattered on it, which doesn't even really bother me. I just feel like that adds to the character of it. And I have no idea where I'm going to put this. I don't know if I'm going to use it inside my house or if I'm going to hang it outside my house next to my door. I love these little hooks down here for the newspaper. I just think it's such a neat vintage find, and this was $15 as well, so I can't tell you exactly why, but I was just very drawn to it, and it ended up coming home with me. Alright, my son Ethan just came home from school. I was trying to finish this video before he got home, but he thought he would join me. So I also found a few newer items. I think mostly at like Marshall's and TJ Maxx, but they're very vintage inspired. And so I thought I would share those with you. Do you want to show them the first thing, Ethan? Can you show them? This is my very shy son. My middle son, who's still sleeping, would not be shy with you at all. But what is this?
A brush.
It's a brush. So I just thought this was so pretty. Just a neat little brush for washing dishes. Sometimes it's the little things that I think, you know, something small like this next to the sink that just make a really big impact. So I thought this would be really pretty just to lay next to my sink for washing dishes. So I got that at, I want to say TJ Maxx for like $3. And then what's the next thing that we have here?
A towel.
Some towels, yep. I got these beautiful towels and they just have this gorgeous stripe on them. It's a soft washed out gray color and then a small blue stripe, and I just thought those would be beautiful in my kitchen. They look gorgeous draped out of a basket. But I love to actually use them. Okay, you got the next item? All right, the next item that I found that I was super excited about was this beautiful apron. I love this blue sort of grain sack fabric. I have a couple pillows in my home with the same grain sack pattern. I thought this apron just looked so vintage. I love that it's sort of like washed and it already looks a little bit old and aged even though it's brand new. And so I'm gonna hang this in my kitchen. I think it would be beautiful. And it says here that I paid $9.99, so I really loved that find. All right, so the last thing that we're gonna share today is this cutting board. And you know, when it comes to cutting boards and breadboards, I really want to switch a lot of mine over to vintage ones, truly authentic, antique boards, but they are so expensive. I mean, we went to an antique store this past weekend and I found one that I loved and it was $165. I mean, they are a lot of money, and I search thrift stores for them all the time. I look through eBay. And it's difficult to find the real old ones that have a lot of character. Believe it or not, I found this at TJ Maxx, and this was only $14.99 for this massive cutting board. I mean, it's bigger than my son. No, not quite, but it's pretty big. So I don't know if I'll just, you know, if I'll use it for decor purposes or I'll just use it for every day. I love using just beautiful things for, you know, the simple things in life, like chopping an onion or some peppers or whatever. So I think I'm gonna hang on to it for that price for this giant piece, and it's just so beautiful. So I thought that was a great find as well. So there's one more thing that I wanted to share with you guys. On the way home from our little trip together, I wanted to stop and look at something that I had seen on Facebook Marketplace. It was in the area where we were, and I told my husband I wasn't sure about it, but let's stop and see it. It was a 100-year-old beam from a barn, and it was the perfect length for our mantle. So I literally just told you in my last video that I think it would be great to put a rustic beam onto our existing fireplace and replace, you know, what's there, the white portion of the mantle, with wood. And we ended up picking this up. This project probably won't happen for a couple of weeks because the man that we purchased it from is very experienced with installing beams, and he said you should probably wait a couple weeks for it to dry out before you try to hollow it out and install it. So this is all new for us, and I will definitely document the whole process so I can share it with you guys. But as of right now, just looking at it, laying in front of my fireplace, I am absolutely in love with the character. There's this little notch that comes out the end, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do with that because I feel like it might look odd on my fireplace, but at the same time, I feel like it's so cool that I kind of want to keep it. So I'm a little bit torn on that end piece. You guys will have to tell me what you think about that, but I am so excited. It's just killing me not to take a crowbar to my mantle right now. I hope all of these antique finds and vintage inspired newer finds really help to inspire you the next time you go shopping for, you know, that cottage farmhouse look. I think it's important to choose pieces that are authentic and original and pieces that not everybody else has. Sometimes it's nice to have something in your home that no one else has because it's unique and it's special. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, please be sure and hit that subscribe button. Bye guys.